Welcome back to the Brave Podcast. This is actually episode number 2, where we still have absolutely no clue what the hell we're doing over here. But my name is Angelo. A lot of you guys know me as Exploring with Angelo on YouTube. Basically, I normally hunt ghosts. I go on crazy adventures, go to abandoned places, strange locations, do a lot of traveling, you know, all the sorts. And I am here with my co-host.
Hi, I am co-host Moshi, otherwise known as Mo, otherwise known as Mohammed. Today, very excited because today on episode 2, we have our very first guest, Angelo.
We do.
Who's that?
And basically it is one of my good friends. You guys have probably seen him many times on the exploring videos, on the vlog channel, you know, going to abandoned mansions and old retro houses and all sorts of weird stuff that we like to do. So here is Ethan.
Hello.
Hello. So, yeah, you want to just pull the mic a little closer. Yeah, just like right where I have it. So, you want to tell everybody what you do?
I explore abandoned mansions, basically.
Very good.
Basically, yeah. So, we've known each other for like, how long now? It's been a little while.
I think it's been at least 3 years.
3 years?
At least.
Yeah. So, it's been a lot of fun. So Mo doesn't know Ethan at all. He has just been introduced to his channel, which we might as well just get it out of the way and say that Ethan is just about to pass 100,000 subscribers, and he's going to get one of these really cool plaques like that. So is that exciting or what?
Extremely exciting.
All right. It's been a long time coming, I'd say.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think today I looked at your channel and it was like 97.9.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yes.
That's really exciting. That's so close. So what would you think? Like 1, 2, 3, 10 more videos you think you'll get to that point? How's your growth at this point?
Right now, it's pretty good right now. I'd probably give it maybe a month and a half.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's very exciting. That's really cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
Good.
Not too shabby, man. So, yeah, do us all a favor and subscribe to Ethan. I'm going to leave his link down in the description below. This video should be up in like probably, I don't know, 3-4 days or whatever. So go and subscribe to him. I know there's at least like almost 3,000 of you, which I very much appreciate all of you because the first podcast episode did amazing. So
yeah, right now I think we're at what, 4,000 views or something.
I have
today?
no idea.
Yeah, that's really great. Thank you guys so much.
It's absolutely amazing. But yeah, like I said, we might as well just get Ethan to that 100,000 threshold and just get it over with, right? I know a lot of you guys like watching abandoned stuff too, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, what should we talk about? What do you guys want to talk about?
Well, the first thing that I heard, maybe not the first thing that I heard about you, but one of the things that excited me was that you apparently have a hobby outside of exploring abandoned mansions, which is car collecting.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit? What are we talking about?
So I collect 1/64 scale model cars. So Hot Wheels, Matchbox, all sorts of different brands. I've got probably close to 6,000 of them.
That is incredible. 6,000?
Yeah.
Right?
That is...
Dude, like that's insane.
Yeah.
That is dedication.
Like, where do you keep them all?
Unfortunately, I don't have the room to display all of them,
Right.
but you know, some of them are just stored in boxes. But a lot are out on display and on the wall, and you know, I got shelves for them. So
are they? Do you have some? Do you keep some in packages? Do you not care? Do you buy every single one you see, or are you looking for specifics?
I used to buy based upon, like, I used to resell them. That's how I used to make money back when I was younger. But now I just kind of buy the ones I like, cars I like, and I usually open most of them. Like there's been cars that have been worth hundreds of dollars. I just rip them open.
Nice.
But I do it because of the enjoyment of cars, not for a dollar value.
That's awesome. Can I show you something?
Yeah.
So I heard that you like these.
Yeah.
So my collection is not nearly as big as yours is. However,
Well, how many do you have?
My entire collection is right here in my head. So I don't know if you know much about values or anything, but am I going to get rich today? So I've got my very favorite car in the world, which is an RX-7, a Mazda RX-7 1995-ish.
Yeah.
Then I've got like an 85-ish RX-7, and then the cherry on top. This is
Oh, the Batmobile.
The Batmobile. Now tell me, do you have that Batmobile?
I do not have this Batmobile. I do have the blue RX-7.
You do? That's my favorite car.
Yeah.
Real life.
Yeah.
We saw that in Japan. That's my dream car.
Awesome.
One day when I sell my house, sell my wife, sell my daughter, I want to buy an RX-7.
That's awesome.
Now, I would like for you, thank you for being our first guest. I would love if you would keep the RX, excuse me, keep the Batmobile.
Yeah. Not the RX-7,
Thank you.
just the Batmobile.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for being our very first guest.
Yeah, so Ethan is actually our very first guest because the first one we did just the two of us. So before we get into anything else about Ethan, so I have an update. So you guys are going to see on the main channel very soon, sometime this week, I did a DNA test with my heritage.
Ooh.
So does everybody have an idea here where their family's from, their ancestry?
Yeah.
You have an idea? Yeah, I think you're what, like
Swedish.
Swedish and
Yeah.
like Russian a little bit too?
Yeah.
Mo?
I'm mainly, so I did, was it 23andMe?
Okay.
I think is the one we did, which I think is a Canadian company. Mainly 51% Middle Eastern, which makes sense. My mom's from Lebanon. My dad's from Guyana. So mainly Middle Eastern and Indian, technically. Now, what about you?
About me? Let me show you.
Yeah, you messaged us today. And you're like, you're not going to believe this.
Dude, this caught me by surprise. Okay, so apparently I am 54% Italian, which apparently they narrowed down to Sicily, I mean, sorry. Yeah, nice. Sicily, which is the part getting kicked by the rest of the boot, if you know what Italy looks like. Then we have Eastern European, which I kind of had an idea. What's weird is that it's pointing to Switzerland. I didn't know that. So that's new to me because I always knew Austria, which Austria and Switzerland are very close anyways. I'm Greek and South Italian. Now, this is the one that caught me really off guard. You ready for this?
Oh, look at that.
Middle Eastern. I'm 20% Middle Eastern. What?
Wow. My brother.
Right?
My brother in the Middle East. Welcome.
Oh my God. That is so funny.
I believe it because of the whole Mediterranean area.
Yeah. I mean,
it absolutely makes sense.
It makes sense. So even like a lot of Lebanese people are Italian, a lot of them, I think. So I don't know. But yeah.
I wonder what the history of that is.
I don't know. I have absolutely.
We should ask My Heritage. You should find out more.
I know. I kind of thought it would go into like a little more detail, but whatevs. Yeah. So after that, I guess what got you started? Like what, when you first started exploring abandoned places, what made you first do it?
So I was 13 years old. There was a highway extension that went through, and my house was one of them. And just knowing how many different places were affected by that, I kind of started to go through the other ones that the government had basically forced out. They call it expropriate, but they don't give you a choice. It's like you're going to take this amount of money and you're going to leave. So I just went around to the other ones, started doing those when I was like 13, 14 years old, and then just did local stuff for the first few years. And then it kind of, I met a bunch of guys from YouTube. I met Carlo, I met Terry, and it kind of just grew from there.
Yeah. How old were you when you met like Carlo, Terry, and all those guys?
I would have been 17.
17. So like 4 or 5 years later or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I want to say like the first time I ever did an abandoned house was probably around the same age. And I remember it was like across the street from one of my really good friends, and we had gone just a few times. And I remember this one time we were in there, and I was like in the hallway kind of facing the main door. And I turned around, and this dude's just standing there staring in the window. And I'm like, what the? Who is this guy? He's like, hey, get out of the house. So I go to like the door, I come out of the house, whatever. And I just remember him going like, I'm like, are you the owner of the house? And he's like, no, I live over there. I'm just watching the place. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And then I think a year or two after, the house magically caught on fire.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and I know how it happened because I found out later that it was actually a bunch of people that I knew went in there one night, and I think they lit a bunch of candles. And then they left the candles or kicked them over or whatever. Maybe they got spooked and they kicked it over, and apparently the house caught on fire, and and then it was gone. But that was my first abandoned house as well. Wow. But yeah, what made you what made you decide to do it as a career?
It was never the plan to do it as a career. It was, after high school, I was unsure what I wanted to do. and then I just started filming videos and posting them. And at first it was nothing. I was getting a few hundred views here and there, but then it kind of took off, and I really seen, how much you could make from this. And I'm like, wow, like, you really can turn this into a full-time job. And that's, I think it's cool that you can take a hobby that you enjoy so much and be able to make a living off of it.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, because like originally when I started doing YouTube, wasn't even doing abandoned, haunted, whatever, like we were talking about on the first podcast.
Right.
I was doing like random stuff like, what was I even doing? Documentaries and random vlogs about making tomato sauce and stuff that like people really didn't give two shits about realistically. And then, the content kind of evolved and changed, and I kind of found my niche market. And you kind of got to look at it as, you're doing it anyway. You're doing it for fun. So why not turn it into a potential career? And I think that we're pretty fortunate that we're successful where we stand right now.
Absolutely.
And so for Ethan, he's only 23, so like he's got years on everybody right now. So I think Ethan will probably have the longest standing career out of everybody.
Yeah, man, that's so impressive. 23 years old and almost 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah, thank you.
That's really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
You are life goals.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Thank you.
Right? But yeah, that's impressive, man. So I know you've had some experiences with the paranormal. What is your beliefs? You would say you believe, you kind of believe, you've witnessed enough that
Yeah. I've seen things here and there that have definitely made me question, if it's real or not. At first I didn't. I thought I was always, a thing people made for entertainment. But then after experiencing things, and these were things that happened when I was alone in houses and stuff, it really makes me question it again for sure if it's real.
Yeah. Have you ever experienced anything at home?
Have I don't think in my own house. I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
I guess that's good.
Yeah, right.
What would you say is probably your most convincing paranormal experience, like the craziest thing that you've probably ever had happen before?
Right. There was a house, and the YouTube video's up. I did probably 2 years ago, and I didn't notice it until after I posted the video. Someone pointed it out, but there's like this black person-shaped figure.
Oh wow.
I'm like panning in a room, and it's standing in the corner, and then I pan downstairs at the top of the stairs, and you can see in the living room at the front just legs walking, and then there's a part when I'm looking up basement stairs into like a living room at the top, and you can see it just go by right at the last frame.
So
and I didn't notice it until someone in my comments pointed it out, and then me and a buddy slowed down the video and watched it, and I was like, wow, like that's
very convincing,
incredible. Yeah, because there was no one with me. I did the house by myself.
Yeah. Was that a house that I did too?
I think it was just me that did that one. It didn't last long.
Oh, okay. It was just one of those like quick ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember you even had like a weird kind of experience in the what did we call it? It was called the Doctor's Mansion, because there was a doctor who owned it at some point.
Right.
The big White House looking one.
Right. I remember that house. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you had like a weird experience in the basement or something, right?
Oh yeah, there was something. What was it? There was some type of, I was down there, and there was some weird, it sounded like someone was said my name or something.
Oh.
Yeah. Because there's like a vault or down there, I think it was. Like one of those.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it was like a gigantic walk-in vault.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I was in there, and to the right of that, there's like a big empty basement room. And I was down there by myself. My buddy was on the top floor, and it sounded like someone whispered my name. And I ran upstairs to tell my buddy who I was with. I'm like, did you just say my name? And he's like, no, I've been up attic the whole time. I'm like, someone just whispered my name downstairs.
Yeah, that house was wild.
Really weird.
I had a really weird feeling in the basement too. Like I think I was down there for a while by myself, and I'm just like, I don't want to be down here. Like this is weird. And I don't get scared very easy, but any crazy paranormal experiences that you've had before, apart from
Kirby Road?
Kirby Road? Was that the only one?
I try not to get myself in the situations where I would be. I'm absolutely not the person that would be doing these haunted and abandoned things.
No, some of them can be pretty intense. But tell us why you do. So if you go and look at Ethan's channel, he only does houses for one. Mainly, I mean, you'll do pretty much any house, but I think your favorite, that's pretty obvious, is that you're really into retro, right? Especially retro mansions. I know they're a little bit harder to find because obviously not every house is going to be a mansion.
Right.
But why are you so interested in like retro and like from you're into like a certain era? Like, what's your favorite, first of all?
Yeah. So what's retro?
To me, just anything that's out of style today.
Nice.
You know, I don't know what it is about it. There's just something about the whole. Well, first of all, my favorite is the 80s. I love the 80s whole architecture of that. You know, glass block windows, black tile floors.
Oh yeah.
The colorful bathrooms, like with the mirrors. Like, there's just something about it that I don't even know what it is, but I absolutely love it.
Oh, I see the appeal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the more colorful, the better, the more interesting.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're pretty cool. And so would you say you prefer mansions specifically? Is that like your thing?
Larger houses, I'd say.
Larger houses?
Yeah.
I guess there's more to see.
Yeah, right.
And you find sometimes that they're like, there's a little bit more detail and what would you say was your favorite, like your absolute, if you had to rank from 10 to 1, what was your absolute number one favorite place that you've ever done?
Probably the Marble Mansion.
The Marble Mansion. Oh yeah.
That was like a Miami Vice house.
Yeah.
You
So
could just picture the Lamborghini Countach sitting in the driveway. Like,
yeah.
You know?
And there's a story to that place too. So but yeah, this place was like, was very sterile feeling for one, because for an abandoned house it was incredibly clean, very spotless.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I went there, I actually have a funny story about going there the very first time. Basically I was with Forgotten Productions. I don't know if you know them.
Yeah.
So I was with them too. I think it's the two cousins.
Okay.
The older guys, and then there's the other guy, Mike. So I was with Forgotten Productions that day. So first we went to the Staircase House, which is, you know, around that area. And so we were in the Staircase House, and it had like this, the reason why we call it the Titanic Staircase is because it has like this two staircases and then the one, it's like the grand staircase of the Titanic, hence why people call it that. And it was so cool. It had like this indoor pool, and it was like, it had a bunch of water, I think, a little bit of water or whatever. And
in the whole house, water in the house.
Well, in the pool, yeah. There was still a little bit of, it was mostly drained, but there was still like a little bit of water sitting in the pool.
That's crazy. Yeah. Seeing that inside a house, that is a mansion, that's for sure.
Yeah, dude, it was incredible. Like, we're not talking like a small pool. You're talking like almost like Olympic sized pool. Like this thing was
crazy,
massive. And I think what had happened to the house was somebody invested in it, and then what was it, that they just left it and then never fixed the roof, and then it started leaking, and there was all this mold everywhere. So I remember we did that house, and this was like pretty early on for my channel when I did that place. Like we're talking like 3.5, maybe even 4 years ago. So we go do that house. We come back outside. We noticed there was this black, I think it was a BMW. It's a black BMW sitting outside, and we're like, whatever. We didn't really make anything of it. We finished up what we were doing, got a couple shots of the outside, and then left. Decided we were gonna. They're like, oh, we got to take you to this other place. It's called the Marble Mansion. You've probably heard of it, right? And I think everybody at the time has heard of this place. So at the time, the STI was broken, as per usual, because that car was always broken. I don't even remember what happened with that car. I think I had to get like new rims because I hit like a rock, so the rims were exploded, and insurance was taking care of it. So I had a rental. I had a white Dodge Charger, piece of crap. Hated that car. It was awful. It was like driving a boat because you were just floating the entire time. It had no handling whatsoever, no balls because it was just a V6, and they're very heavy. So we're in this car, and one of the guys had this security thing in their car. So I had this idea, and I'm like, yo, you still got that security? It was like a banner. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, we have a Dodge Charger, so it kind of looks like a security car to begin with, or a cop. Let's just put the banner and then just park on the driveway. So we do that. We pull up, and we're sitting on the driveway when all of a sudden the black BMW now shows up in front of this house, and there's a lady, and she gets out, and she's like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, oh, I'm just looking to buy the house. She's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, are you the real estate agent? And I knew she was lying, but she goes, yeah, I'm the real estate agent.
Wow.
And I'm like, there's no way. But I'm like, okay, well, I'll call you if we're interested. I'm just like, guys, just get in the car. Let's get the hell out of here. We all got back in the car real quick and just left. But yeah, that house was cool, man. I like that.
It was
place.
awesome.
Yeah, I think they're renovating it now, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Any ideas what it looks like now?
Pretty plain.
Yeah.
Pretty modern and just
No
white
more,
and
no
plain.
more 80s.
No more 80s.
It's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
It's all done.
Okay. What's your second favorite Explorer apart from that one?
Something that I'm doing right now. There was a whole big neighborhood of 14 houses all in the same street. Developer bought out, and again, they're late 80s era houses, so it's my type of place. And there's 3 left. They've torn down, I think, 10 of them, and then 1's still lived in. So that's definitely up there for sure.
It's funny how they're still living there.
I can't imagine. I think it'd be creepy to be surrounded by just empty houses and construction. Like it'd just be,
Is what it is, I suppose. But
if they hold out for longer, do they get more money?
I think they've already technically sold it, but I was explained exactly why they wouldn't leave, because I talked to someone who used to live in the house across the street, and they were telling me that there was some reason that they wouldn't leave, and that there was like a court thing going on between them and the developer. Yeah. It was a whole thing, but I didn't really get what he was saying.
Yeah, they probably think that at this point they're gonna, if they just hold out, they're gonna get more money.
Yeah.
But I imagine maybe they thought it was gonna be easy to find somewhere else to live.
Yeah.
And then now they're just kind of stuck there, and they're like, well, we ain't got nowhere to go, so we're just not gonna leave, right? We're just gonna stay in this house, even though they don't want us here, and is what it is. Yeah. But
are they losing money? You think? Like, they're not even getting the value of that house?
I don't think they'll lose money. I mean, I know there was a couple in there that got way over market price. Like they're on average worth probably 3 to 4 million. But I know there was one guy that got 8.
Wow.
Yeah, because he wouldn't leave. So they're just like, all right, here's 8 million. Now go.
Yeah, I'd leave, bro.
Yeah.
So how do you find your locations? Like, how do you actually locate these abandoned spots?
A lot of it started before I drove. It was just Google Maps, and if I seen something I thought might be something, I would pin it, and then when I was out exploring with someone else, I would we'd go to it and check it out. But now it's a lot of driving around, just knowing the areas to look in and knowing what to look for. And,
especially in the GTA right now. There for a few years now, there's been like this crazy abundance of abandoned houses. Like they're just all over the place, and there's certain areas that you can go to that obviously Ethan's very familiar with because he's constantly looking for new ones to film. It's just crazy how many there are. I mean, sometimes obviously you get a lot of like little small ones are kind of boring, nothing too impressive that Ethan's not really interested even in filming in. And because you don't really do like other stuff, like just you don't do abandoned hospitals, asylums, none of that stuff. Why don't you do those? It just doesn't interest you?
I mean, there's a couple different reasons. I mean, the main one for me is just it doesn't interest me. You know, I have to be interested in what I'm looking at in order, I think, to make it interesting for the viewer. So if I'm not, going to be interested in it, my commentary is going to be bad, and I'm not going to know what I'm talking about. And it's just, but I guess the other reason too is I just find that the houses tend to do better, at least to me, because I've posted a couple times. I posted a school once early on, and it did terrible. Yeah, I've noticed that too. Even when when I first started, I was doing like mainly abandoned stuff, and it was good. I mean, and I enjoyed it, but it's like after doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, it just kind of got boring. But I noticed that when it's houses, it changes, right? Because sometimes you have like one that's, very Italianesque design. You have other ones that are colonial designs, especially I like historic stuff. So for me, if we find like historic houses, that's like my thing. Like I'm down. Yeah. Right. Plus the odds of it being haunted are much more likely, right? So
there'll be a lot of variety based on, in housing. So the owner, the builder, the area, all these things will of course, make different things, different scenery for you guys. So houses is certainly better than school. All schools look the same. No,
I guess. Well, especially here.
Yeah.
I mean, I find older schools kind of like look a little bit different, right? Especially when you go to the U.S., the schools are much older and look completely different. Right? I haven't done too many schools in the U.S., but I have done a few. Like I've done a few colleges. I did this one crazy college in Detroit, and like literally almost everything was left behind, including machinery,
oh, I think I
equipment.
remember that one.
There
Wow.
was a freaking car on this, like, because they had mechanics class. They were teaching people how to work on cars, and they had this, I guess it was the test car, had like no doors, there was no engine in it anymore or whatever. People probably went in and stole God knows what, right? But it was funny because we were like actually able to turn the whole car on this piece of machinery, which I guess was just used, which was there to teach people how to work
Wow.
on cars.
Wow, that's
So,
cool.
but yeah, it was a good time. I don't know. I
Wow.
thought it was interesting. I mean, I'll do anything once, right? I like asylums. I don't know why, but I guess just
Yeah.
because they're typically the scariest.
Mhm.
But yeah. How do you ever plan on going international? I know we spoke about it, but
Yeah.
what's your plan for the future?
I'd like to go down to the States eventually. There's a lot of really good mansions down there.
Mm-hmm. Like any particular areas or?
They're all over. You know,
Mhm.
I've got a few different states I wouldn't mind checking out.
Yeah.
I'd like to probably, start with that, and then, maybe in the future, Europe looks incredible.
Oh yeah,
Like
they're-
that looks just amazing.
Yeah, they got a lot of very historic old mansions, like and castles
Yeah.
and chateaus and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But the U.S. is definitely a very good place to start. Obviously, you've probably spoken to Big Banks,
Yeah,
right?
yep.
Yeah, he's cool. So
Yes.
definitely hook up with him, or just at least get some pointers on where to go when
Yeah.
you decide to go down there. But
Absolutely.
yeah, so you had something you wanted to ask him, right?
So, in your latest video, which is the one that I did research with,
Yeah.
knowing you were coming on,
Yeah.
I was watching the first few minutes, and something that was so interesting to me was you were outside and you were about to go in the house, and you got chased by a beast. What was it? You got chased by a groundhog, which is okay. A groundhog. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You told me about, before we started recording, you told me about other things that had chased you.
Yeah.
Tell me about it again.
So I'll start. Yeah, I guess I'll start with the older one. So it was 2-3 years ago. I was doing a house. We called it the Log Mansion. You may remember it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was late at night. And who was I with? I think I was with Mo Sargi.
Mm-hmm.
And we started hearing in like the distance coyotes like barking, and
Wow.
they started getting closer and closer, and they just started barking, and there's like a whole pack of them, and they started chasing us. I've never ran so fast in my life.
I would be
That's
so scared.
crazy.
Like it was
Yeah.
like, oh, it was crazy. I have it on video. I
Yeah.
look back at it time to time, and I'm like, I'm so happy we got out of that, because that would have been bad.
I don't think
Oh,
I ever.
man.
I don't think I saw your video on it. I think I saw Mo's video on
Yeah.
it. But yeah, it's when it comes to coyotes, most of the time coyotes are harmless. If you get one or two or whatever, it's not much of a problem. You just shine a very bright light, and they run away. They're usually pretty afraid of people. They're not as brave, except for when they're in a pack and they surround you. It's a
Yeah.
stupid bug in here, but yeah, if they surround you, then you might be in some trouble. So just just try and blind them and start yelling back, and I guess be as big as possible, sort of like when you're dealing with a bear, which I think a bear would probably be a little more traumatizing.
That's one thing. That's another reason why I would never. I personally think I would never want to do these kinds of things, because I'd be afraid of all the animals, like especially, and maybe this is irrational, but I just thinking if I were to ever come across a snake or snakes or something, I have an irrational fear of that. No, I would never do that.
I've been there, done that. Ran into a couple rattlesnakes. Where was that? That was New Mexico. So we were doing Randonautica. We met up ended up at a silo. It was an abandoned missile silo. It was ICBM missiles for the U.S. in close to Roswell. And we get there. We're like, oh, this is pretty cool. And so the first one that I noticed, because there was a whole bunch of them. So the first one that I noticed, I was like, so I walked up, and basically it was like the gigantic gates were completely open, and you can look down. It was like probably 13 levels. Like it was deep. So I'm like, obviously, going around filming. I'm like, oh wow, this is so cool. I can literally see the innards of an abandoned missile silo. Amazing.
Wow.
Obviously there was no missile anymore, but you could just see straight down. There's like this big fence all the way around it. So I did one sweep around, went all the way around, and as I'm coming back, I had stopped recording. Then all of a sudden, I see the tail of a rattlesnake.
Oh no.
Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, that's not good. And then I just start screaming like a little bitch and start running towards my friend Yasko. And he's like, what's going on? What's going on? And he just starts recording. He's like, what's happening? I'm like, rattlesnake. And I'm just running as fast as I can. He probably thought I was getting chased by it, but it was literally just sitting there. So we stopped for a second, and he of course, he had to see it, right? And so at this point, I'm like, okay, give me a second. I bust out my camcorder because it's got really, really good zoom, like a 30 times optical zoom, and I zoomed in on it. I'm like, there, you can see its tail. And afterwards, I actually checked the drone footage, and I noticed that when I first went in, the snake wasn't there. On the second time I came back around with the drone to film the same spot, you can see it in the footage like hanging down.
Oh no.
Right? Which is, yeah. So obviously at some point when I did that sweep with the drone, it came through. So it was, you know, at some point, I don't know, awake, threatening possibly. So then afterwards, we end up, there's a door. It was wide open. And the door leads into the entrance of the missile silo. And we start going down the stairs. Jazz was ahead of me. When all of a sudden he starts screaming bloody murder. Ah! And we turned around. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, snake, snake. Yeah. Apparently the snake was flying up the stairs towards us.
Oh,
and
God.
he's like, nah, we're done. We're not doing this. We ain't going in there. And then we're now coming back up the driveway, very long driveway. And all of a sudden, he starts screaming again, and we're both running because he heard a snake come up from the grass and just start going like this with its tail, which means you're getting too close, and they'll probably, you know, retaliate if you get a little too close, which is not good. And then we keep running. I heard something moving in the grass. I'm like, whatever, man, just keep running, go all the way to the gate, jump quickly over the gate, and let's get the hell out of here. It's
no, I can imagine just the sound of a rattlesnake, just the sound, nightmare fuel. Absolutely not. It would haunt me.
Yeah.
There's no way.
I saw another one recently when I was in Arizona, but it was just crossing the road. So we were just driving up the road, leaving the area, and yeah, it was just like, oh, look, a rattlesnake. And just slowly slithering along, living its best life. Yeah. It's pretty wild.
I think the next scariest animal creature after a snake for me would be like a crocodile, alligator. I
really?
Can't. Which one isn't one of them kind of harmless and one of them is absolutely not?
I'm not sure who told you that, but they're both.
I think they're both pretty.
Yeah, they're both deadly as all hell. I've seen alligators. I've never seen a crocodile, but I've seen two or three alligators in the same day. Actually, when I was in Florida, we went specifically for the reason of trying to find them, and we found the behemoth of all alligators. This thing was like 9-10 feet long.
Oh no.
And afterwards we realized, when everybody watched the video, saw the pictures, they're like, yeah, you're definitely way too close. Like, you should not be that close. And
they move very fast too.
Oh, dude, they're lightning. And that's the misconception, because a lot of people will tell you, if you're getting chased by an alligator, run in a zigzag motion. Don't do it. Don't do that.
You run in. Down.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know who's trying to get people killed out here and telling people to run in a zigzag motion, but you're not supposed to do that. That's actually the worst thing you can possibly do. But from the actual experts, I've been told, run in a straight line as fast as you possibly can. And then if you do get caught, because they're much faster than we are, if, you know, they catch your foot in their mouth or something, there's a certain spot that you're supposed to, like, hit them in the face in to kind of get them
between the eyes or something. Or is that sharks maybe?
It might be the same thing. I don't remember specifically, but there's a very specific spot that you can just like kick them in the face and they'll hopefully release. But yeah, they're alligators and crocodiles are both pretty evil.
I guess I'm gonna have to research what spot that is before I ever go to Florida.
Right. So yeah, if you go to Florida, just I guess unless you're want to see them, maybe don't go to the Everglades, but they're pretty much everywhere around there, around water anyway. So then you have crocodiles that are salt water, but Florida does have some, like around the Keys. you will find some Crocs. But
I suspect you'd find some pretty nice houses and mansions maybe in Florida.
Oh, there
and those
is.
areas.
There's a lot. There's actually one that I did. You probably saw. I think I showed it to you.
Yeah, you
when
did.
When I was literally there, I'm like, bro, you got to see this place. This place is amazing. So it was a historic mansion. I don't remember when it was built. What, like 1910 or something like that? It's over 100 years old.
Yeah.
I know that much. Basically, it had been owned by Osama bin Laden's brother.
Wow.
Actually, yeah. So that place was really interesting. I know there's a couple other ones. I don't think I really had the time to do them, but there's a lot of cool spots that you can do in Florida. You just got to be very careful because in Florida people have guns, and they have the stand your ground law, which means that all they have to do is warn you, and if you decide not to leave, they will most likely shoot you. Right. So just be very wary of what it is that you decide to do in Florida and places like Texas and stuff. I mean, they're defending their property and that's their rights, right? So, but yeah, if you were to go to the U.S. now, where would you go, like, to travel?
Just to explore or to visit?
Or both. What's your?
Well, I think if it's just like visit, like vacation, California. I've always like Los Angeles. I love it. It looks so nice.
It is. It looks nice. It's just some areas are a little bit rough.
Yeah.
You just gotta. But if you go to like the touristy areas, you're fine.
Right.
As far as I know, if you to go to explore, where would your first destination be?
New Jersey.
New Jersey?
Yeah, I've heard there's a lot of good mansions.
Oh yeah. I've done a few over there too in Jersey. They're a lot of fun. They're cool. They're interesting.
Yeah.
Jersey's fun. I don't like the cities.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's pretty much anywhere you go. Even here, the cities just don't do anything for me. I like being in the middle of the woods, getting eaten by mosquitoes. That's my thing. So, but yeah. So we found something funny online. I'm pretty sure you're probably already aware of it, but apparently Ethan has an IMDb page because you're super famous. Let me actually see if I can open this up here, but. Yeah, if it'll load, hopefully. There we go. So
yeah, I think my wife found this, right?
Yeah, I think so.
We were talking about like researching for when you came on, and she found, is this the guy?
Oh boy.
Yeah, so apparently, let me just switch this real fast. There you go, so everybody can see it. So Ethan is so widely famous that he has his own page. Tell me if this is accurate. Ethan, how do you pronounce your last name?
Minnie.
It is Minnie, right?
With the mouse.
Because I've heard somebody say Minnie once, and I'm like,
no.
I don't think it's Minnie. But
No.
Ethan Minnie was born on 30th April 2000 in Oshawa. You were born in Oshawa?
I was.
Oh, okay. So it is accurate then.
It is.
Did you make this page or
No,
something?
it
just popped up one day?
I was actually, the way I found out is I was bored one day, and I Googled myself.
Yeah.
And it was like one of the first things to come up, and I clicked on it. I'm like, what the heck? And then I read the information. I'm like, it's accurate. And then I asked like my sister if she made it, my mom, and they all like, no, I have no idea. So I don't know who made it.
That's funny.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Who knows so much about me?
Yeah, it's right. It's
Yeah.
weird.
I think the same thing happened to my friend Brent. But the funny part is that the page is completely inaccurate.
Oh.
Like I don't think there's even one thing that's actually accurate except for maybe like him being from Pennsylvania. That was about it.
It's all 9-year-olds who are writing his.
Right. Like I don't know who's going and writing all this random nonsense, but it's been a while since I've Googled myself. Probably nothing would come up anyways, but let's see what else do we got here. So it says you are an actor. You are an actor apparently, known for Abandoned Urbex Canada, which is funny because that's not actually a TV show. That's literally somebody that we know.
Yeah.
And then Bright Sun Films, same thing. But he's more like documentary style, right?
Sorry. So what is Abandoned Urbex? Are you talking about? It's a YouTube channel?
Yeah, it's his name is it's Brett, right?
Brent.
Yep. Brent. I always get confused if it's Brett or Brent, but I've met him one time, I think.
Yeah.
But really cool dude.
Really nice guy. Yeah.
And he does basically similar stuff. He's a little bit more cinematic, I would say, when it comes to his videos.
Yeah.
But he does all sorts of different kind of like abandoned locations. We'll fly to Vancouver, we'll fly to East Coast, down south. I remember when I was in Florida, I think I missed him by literally like, I don't know, 12 hours.
Wow.
As we were coming in, apparently he was flying back out. So I had literally just missed him. But yeah. That's funny. And then the other one was Uncharted Travel, which I think his name is what? Brennan.
Yeah. He's a cool dude.
Yeah, and he does kind of basically the same stuff, but it's just hilarious because there's all like the photos.
Oh, yeah, I remember that house.
Oh my god.
Hey, there I am.
Funny. Yeah, there you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh
god.
boy, that was a long time ago.
Oh, then we got Transformers. You were in the Transformers? That's amazing.
Right, you weren't supposed to know that yet.
But yeah, we thought it was really funny. We're like, wait, what? Is this right too? Are you 6'4"?
6'4", 6'5" on a good day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes 6'6" if it's a really good day.
That's right.
Depends on the weather, right?
Is your nickname actually Beethan?
Does it say that?
I've been called that a couple times throughout my days. Yeah.
Well,
I don't know
who
why.
knows you this well?
I know my sister's called me that before, but I don't. I think she made.
Is there any videos of people calling you Beethan?
There might be something out there.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not aware of.
Think about that. How crazy is that?
I know, eh?
Dude, I don't. I've never heard anybody call you Beethan.
No.
Not in our group of people, anyways.
No.
But I don't know. Maybe.
Wow.
But yeah, congratulations. You are world famous.
That's awesome.
On IMDb, which is amazing.
Well, click on agent info. I want to know who's representing.
Wait,
you.
there's agent
I have an
info?
agent, I guess. Oh.
Okay. Well, you have to, I guess, subscribe for that. What the hell?
IMDb Pro. Okay, I don't know what this is.
Funny. I don't know what's going on here, but okay. Yeah. So there was another thing that we found that was really funny too. So
Okay.
well, we didn't really find it, but I think this was your wife as well. Who
Yeah.
did this, right?
Yeah.
So she used something called ChatGPT.
You know what ChatGPT is, right?
I've heard of it, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this new form of AI, and this thing like answers questions, not answers you questions, but answers questions on just like random stuff.
Okay.
And basically, let's see what it said. So, suggest questions from following bio. So I guess how did she do this?
So I guess what happened here is on our screen, we're looking at ChatGPT user. So this is saying what has the user inputted. So ChatGPT is a website where it's pulling information. You're asking questions or telling it to do things. It's pulling information from the internet to answer your questions. So for example, she put in that beginning bio from IMDb.
Yeah.
And then said, suggest questions for the podcast from the following bio, and then it says, okay, here's ChatGPT replying. Great. Based on the provided information, here are some interview questions for Ethan Minnie. First one being, can you share with us your journey into the world of acting? How did you get started and what drew you to this profession?
It's just like the way it wrote it was so formal. So we said that. We're like, oh yeah, it sounds a little like weird, right? So I think we asked a little bit more informally the second time. And it said, sure, here are some interview questions for Ethan Minnie, but this time in a more casual tone. So Ethan, tell us how you got into acting, what sparked your interest in this field? And then it says, we've seen you in projects like Abandoned Urbex Canada, Bright Sun Films, and Uncharted Travel. Can you give us an inside scoop on what it is like working on those projects? So can you give us the inside scoop, Ethan, on what it's like to work on those projects?
Oh
my
man.
god, that's
good.
That's hilarious. Acting can be a wild ride. What's the most exciting or fun aspect for you? Any roles or experiences that have left a lasting impression? It's like, dude, we're just YouTubers, man.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
So actually, can we go back to that?
Yeah.
Can you answer that? What is the most exciting or fun aspect for you? So do you ever think like, I'm a thrill seeker, I want to find something new today in this house? Or is it kind of like, I'm just looking for the beauty in these classic homes and I just want to show that off? What's your mindset going into these houses?
I guess it's a bit of both, I guess, just hoping, you're going in and you're finding something good and to show your audience, right? That's my main thing is, what I show my audience, I want to be, entertaining. I want it to be good. I want it to be to, a standard to where I would watch it if, I was looking into watching something into, that genre of video.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Let's see what else this thing has to say. Being involved in Urbex. This might actually be a good one. Urban exploration sounds fascinating. How has that influenced your acting and creativity? Any interesting stories to share? I mean, I'm sure we got tons, but what would actually be like the craziest experience when it's come to Urbex? Because a lot of times people don't know that we're basically like professional trespassers.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what we convince what we tell ourselves and tell everybody else.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of times, you know, it's places that we're obviously not supposed to be there. Some places you can get away with it really easy, but I'm sure there's been some situations where maybe we have a little bit of issues.
Yeah.
But what has been your craziest experience to date that you want to share?
Probably the time when we were like surrounded by the law. That was pretty crazy.
That I was with. I don't think I was with.
No, it was me and a couple other guys. I'm not gonna say their name just in case they don't want to.
Yeah, I vaguely remember the story that you basically. You just had a bunch of cops show up.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That was scary.
Yeah.
'Cause we were in the house and the one guy I was with was like, "Yeah, there's someone coming up to the door," and I'm like, "There's probably not," you know. So I went and looked to be sure, and sure enough, there was a guy walking up. So we ran out the back through a basement door and got out. We thought we were fine, and then we walked past the top of the street, and the developer who owned these houses, he's like, "What are you doing in my houses?" And we're like, "What houses?" You know. And
just play silly at that.
Just play like, what are you talking about? What houses? Where? We go for a walk, you know? He's like, no, I got an eyewitness saying you three guys were in my houses. I'm like, no, we weren't. So we walked off, and then I tried to go back to my car. And when we got back to my car, you could see it from a bit of a distance, and this developer parked directly behind it. So we're like, all right, we can't do that. So we just, you know, walked around a bit more and hoped he left. And then one of the people who lived in a nearby house went with the developer to probably look for us, and then we split up. Or like, maybe if we split up, you know, they won't know it's us. So two of them went their separate way. I went my way, and I got a phone call from one of them, just, you know, telling me where they were going. And then in the background, I could hear police sirens on the phone call. And he's like, "Oh, the police are here. I gotta go." So he hung up, and I'm like, "All right, my car's surrounded. They're done. Like, I'm screwed."
Yeah.
So I kind of walked right into it, and then I had I think 6 or 7 police cars.
Oh, that's fun.
Just on me alone.
Wow.
Yeah, K9 dog and everything. It was scary.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had something similar that happened to me.
Yeah.
We were in New Hampshire, and we went to this house. I think it was like, this house was almost 300 years old, had everything inside of it. I won't say exactly where it is, but let's just say that we went to the house, and basically we were looking for a way in, obviously, because we don't want to break things. So we're trying to find, like, you know, obviously an unlocked window, an open door, whatever, things like that. And so we were around back, and at some point, me and another guy saw a car kind of pull up, slowed down, and then kept driving off. And then we were waiting around, still looking for, obviously, a way in. At one point, I heard something on the second floor. From the outside, I could hear it. Didn't know what it was. I just assumed maybe it was an animal or something. Raccoon crawled in, who knows. And we're waiting outside, and then all of a sudden, the same car pulls up and stops right in front. So now we're kind of like, oh, crap. So we start running towards the back. There was a big tree line, kind of like a forested area back there. So we're there waiting. About 10 minutes go by. Another 5 minutes go by. Then all of a sudden, one of the guys goes, "Shit, that's a cop." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, and for me, from like a distance, like, my eyes are not the best, so I couldn't really tell, but you could see this big white thing on the dude's head. So moments before that, we heard a motorcycle was coming down the road and then shut off, but we didn't know where this motorcycle went. And then, of course, we clued in. We're like, okay, it's a cop on a motorcycle. Makes sense. Great. Okay, so we got as low as possible, and we're just like waiting. And then we're like, okay, what do we do? At this point, we're like stuck in the woods. What do we do? And we're just like, let's just go through the woods and try and find a way around. We had parked the truck way up the road, like probably, I don't know, 2-3 miles up the road. And we started hiking, all three of us. And at some point, we start hearing them on the megaphone, and they were yelling something. All I heard was something state police, and I'm like, okay, this is getting serious. And we just kept hiking through the forest. And at some point, we were in like some really mucky spots, very swampy. My shoe literally got stuck and I lost my balance. So my shoe got stuck. My foot comes out of my shoe. Now my foot goes right into the mud. So that was fun. Great. So now I got swampy feet. So I get my shoe out of the mud and we continued on. And we end up finding these random TPs. Like somebody built like these wooden TP type of things. And we decided, we're like, let's change our identities. So we all swapped clothes, and it was like the funniest thing ever. Like we swapped hats, shirts. One of us put our shirt inside out. I think one of the guys had an extra pair of pants, so he changed his pants. Literally everything. Nice. So there was no identities whatsoever. So we're still hiking. We finally found a trail that comes out of the forest. So we start coming out, and then a cop flies by. So we start like get really low to the ground, and he didn't see us somehow. I don't know how they were looking for us, but he didn't see us. I don't know how that happened. So we're just like, okay, well, at this point, there's literally nothing else we can do, because, it's going to be pretty obvious that they're going to see a black truck with Ontario plates in New Hampshire. Like, we're screwed, right? There's no hiding that obviously that's our vehicle. So they're probably waiting there for us. And we're like, whatever, let's just get out and just hope for the best. If they ask, we'll just tell them we went to the haunted TPs in the forest. So we come out, we start walking up the road, and a cop passes us. And then all of a sudden turns his lights on, turns around, and he starts coming towards us. So we're like, all right, guys, prepare. We might be going to jail. So,
oh, no.
Yeah, so we waited. He obviously pulls over, starts talking to us. He's like, hey, what are you guys doing out here? We're like, oh, we were in the forest. He's like, oh, sure you were. Were you at the haunted house up there? We're like, there's a haunted house up there? Can we go? That sounds great. Let's go to the haunted house. And we're just playing dumb at this point. And they're like, give us a second. We're just going to wait for one of the other police. So basically what had happened was we were on the line where we were standing. We were literally on the line of two counties. So one county was state police jurisdiction, and the other one was obviously county police. So they had to have both of the police officers there at the same time. So they came, they started asking us for IDs and all of our information, whatever. And they tell us that they caught 4 other people in the house. So that's that noise that I heard. There was literally somebody already in the house who had broken in, and apparently they had been experiencing a lot of break-ins. So I guess they had a camera off across the street, hence why the car kept coming back and forth, because somebody was obviously watching it. And we're just like, yeah, no, we didn't go in there. And they're like, oh, are you sure you didn't go in there? And we're like, no, I swear, look, we have pictures. And because we had planned this all, we're like, let's just take a bunch of pictures of us inside the forest, so if they ask to see anything, that's all they see. Right? There's your evidence. As long as we don't admit it and they don't have any evidence that we were there, and then they're just like, okay, whatever, just, don't come back here, because a lot of people have been breaking in. We're like, oh, no problem. We're just like I said, we just went to the TPs. We never went to the house.
You got away with it.
Yeah, dude, we literally all got away. I mean, we didn't actually get in or break anything, so it was like, who cares, right? But yeah, and then I guess that's similar to your experience, right? Any other experiences like that?
It's just been, I think, the one so far.
Yeah.
We've been stopped by the police before at locations, but nothing as hardcore and as crazy as that,
Well, we got one if you want to get into it. I don't mind getting into it if you want to.
If you want to start off, sure.
Yeah. So I won't give away too many details about this scenario, but how long ago was that? 2021, 2022?
It would have been April of 21, yeah. 21,
damn. Okay.
Oh, that sounds juicy. This is a specific incident we're talking about.
A very specific incident, and it has a lot to do with we'll just call him a douchebag. But yeah, so basically what had happened was there was this certain house that another explorer, I will not mention them by name, but another explorer who's in the Urbex field, I guess, whatever, he gave me a location, and it was weird how he did this. But so basically he asked me for a location, so I gave it to him. I actually brought him into the location, and he decided, he's like, yeah, I gotta give you something in exchange, whatever. I'm like, okay. sure, whatever you want, right? And he's like, oh, I have this one specific mansion that I know Ethan's been looking for. I'm like, oh, okay. I knew right away which one he was talking about, obviously. And he specifically said if Ethan wanted to go, all he's got to do is ask. Or if Ethan wants a location, all he's got to do is ask. That's literally all he said. So that implies that if I decide to go to this house, that means that Ethan is more than welcome to join me by saying something like that, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, he was lying, but what he was trying to do, we'll actually get to that in a second. So anyways, he gives me this location. We all go. There was a few of us that day. I don't want to, say any names.
Including Ethan. You went with
I was one.
Yes.
Yeah. Ethan was with me that day. Because I think I drove up that way.
You did, yeah.
Right, yeah. And then we ended up in like cottage country somewhere afterwards and whatever. So we did a whole bunch that day. So we went to this one house. We basically went to the house. And then once we got there, we all concluded that, this place is not abandoned, like at all.
No.
Oh,
this
wow.
is a reno house. Like this
like an
house is under
Active construction site. Like this place was being like built, like completely renovated. Yeah.
Oh, that's not your style at all.
No, we
It's
don't.
not abandoned at all.
No,
No.
like we were told that this place was abandoned, and it was pretty obvious that it wasn't. And beautiful house. It was freaking massive.
Huge.
So now we're outside this house. We decided, this place is not abandoned. We probably shouldn't do this one, and we decided to leave. And then I think it was moments later after that we had seen the police drive by. We're like, oh crap. Right. So we're like, whatever. We never went in the house. We just kind of roamed around the property, realized that it wasn't something that we should be doing. So we decided to leave like good little boys. I think it was 3 days after or something like that?
It was my 21st birthday. I got a call from
the very night of your 21st birthday.
Yeah, I was at Niagara Falls, that with some friends, just, out partying, whatever. And I get a call from this unknown number. So I answer it and I go step out in the hallway of the hotel and I'm like, hello. And she's like, hi, this is so-and-so with the Ontario Provincial Police.
Yeah.
Oh,
She's like,
no.
I'm like, we'd like to speak to you about an incident that took place at this address on this day at this time. I'm like, all right, what's up? And then she's like, well, were you, did you do this? Were you here? Asking me all these questions. I'm like, I didn't know what to say, right? I was just so caught off guard. And she's like, it's something about it that I had to go in and pay a ticket or something and all this stuff. And there was something, I think they originally wanted to charge us with break and enter or something.
Yeah,
and then
they wanted to go hard with no lube. That's what they wanted to
yeah. Yeah. And then they kind of, they got lowered down to just, I guess, a ticket.
So you did go in?
No, so I never went. I never ended up going in because, to my knowledge, and to people that I know that are in law enforcement, I spoke to them about it. And if they want to charge you with something, you don't have to go. They will either send you it and you can pay the ticket online,
right?
Or they will go to you. You don't go all the way to them.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
No.
I mean, if they're trying to find you, they're trying to charge you with something, they would come get you.
Exactly.
Yeah. But the Ontario Provincial Police are a bunch of stooges because I've had a couple of experiences with them. So when she called me, because I remember Ethan, I think you were one of the first people to get the phone call.
Yeah, I was.
Right? All four of us. I don't even know how
So
they had.
all of you got it. Okay.
Yeah. So we all
Let me go
got.
back. Let's go back for a second. So you got a tip from this unnamed person saying, hey, this is a place abandoned. You guys will like this place. Ethan will like this place. Go check it out. Here's the address.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
so
then-
what he was trying to do, because he obviously knew it wasn't abandoned, and this is part of the story, is that he was trying to get us in trouble. And this is not the first time he's done stuff like this. I have other experiences. I don't even want to get into it because it just involves other people that, are not really in the same position that I am in. So I'm just not going to say anything at all. The only reason we're talking about this is because Ethan and I know that this guy deserves to be shat on, right?
Very hard.
I mean, people need to know that this guy is a real piece of work. And like I said, I'm not going to go into names, but I mean, I wouldn't doubt if he brings it up at some point. But so basically, you got the call first, then I got the call.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to her and she's like, yeah. And she was mean at first. She was very angry and just being I think I left something open on my computer, which might be dinging. Sorry, guys. But yeah, so she was very mean at first, and she was basically claiming that, oh, we're going to charge you with break and enter. The house is not abandoned, this and this and that. And it's like, yes, we realized that, hence why none of us went into the house. Hence the reason why it is only a trespass. And she's like, no, it's not break and enter. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, listen, lady, if I wasn't doing what I'm doing right now, I'd probably be a damn good lawyer, okay? Because I like to argue with people. So I know the law because I've been there, done that. And basically I had to explain to her that this is what a break and enter is. This is what it is to be unlawfully in a dwelling. Clearly no one lived there because the house was under renovation. So it is obviously not a dwelling, which therefore makes it a trespass. We never even went into the house and we had no ill intent when we went there. And then she finally calmed down. And I said, listen, here's what I'll do. I will pay a trespass ticket, and I could probably speak on behalf of everybody else involved. We will individually each make a $200 donation to whichever charity the owner of the house decides. So I said, if you can contact them and let them know that, that would be much appreciated, then get back to me. So 10 minutes later, she calls me and she says, don't worry about the donation thing. Just, you're going to have to just pay a trespass ticket. We understand what happened, because then at that point I had mentioned that the person who had given us the location, who was obviously trying to get us in trouble to go to this house. And she said, oh, really? There was another person. I'm like, yes, we know the person by name, right? So if you want the info, we have it. We can probably locate this person and you can, do whatever it is that you need to do.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what happened.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, it was pretty obvious that he was trying to get us to go to this location. Because then after we went, we posted it online. He got all pissy because you were with me.
Yeah.
And a couple other people as well. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, first of all, why would I go alone? Like, I don't want to drive like 2 hours north just to go by myself.
No.
Right? I'm gonna make it a day with the boys, and we're gonna go and film some other stuff on top of whatever thing you shared with us. But it was pretty obvious what he was trying to do. But yeah,
Wow.
it is what it is, I guess. Right? I mean,
So is this person who gave you that information, was he not as successful as you guys? Is his channel, is it a YouTuber?
No, he started off with a website. He's been exploring since like before I was even born.
Okay.
Like he's been doing this like 20 some odd years, and he's got a website, and he got rid of the website a few years ago or something, and now he's got another website, and he's got a Facebook page where he goes on rants.
No YouTube?
No, well, he has a YouTube, but like
it's not really like what we do.
it's not like what we do, where we
Okay.
narrate and like detail stuff. He just kind of like runs through a place with a camera,
Okay.
like, and it just.
So
I'll
he's a
leave it
bit
at that.
salty. He's a bit salty. He's a bit jealous.
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
He says
Okay.
he's not. He's try to make it clear that he's not jealous, and he's like, there was one point last year. So when I bought my car, right, he made a point to, because I said like how much I paid for it and how I was proud of myself and all this stuff that I've bought my car and all this. He made a point to locate my license plate number, get paid to have it searched, like government search, get the sales history, and be like, you didn't pay that, you paid this. I'm like, no, I paid this because this is there's taxes, there's fees, there's like that. You don't pay just the list price. So he's like, how did he word it? He's like, Ethan claims vehicle ownership, but not without exaggeration, of course.
But
like, is he just like a clickbaiter? Is he kind of like, not clickbait, that's not the right word. Is he trying to like build off of other people's successes by creating drama?
I think he just feeds off of drama and just
that's
attention.
part of it. That's part of it. So what I think this dude's deal is that he sees a lot of other people doing well. So for example, you have Ethan, and he's probably going, I've been doing this since before he was born.
Yeah.
Right? Why don't I have the same success that Ethan has? Right? Well, it's like, well, you just maybe, I don't know, didn't run your stuff like you were supposed to, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the way we make videos, they have a structure, right? Ethan's got a system when he goes in, and he has an idea of how he wants to put his video together. And the thing with Ethan's videos is that they're relatively very simple,
Yes,
right?
very.
There's no music. I mean, like my stuff's like, I try to make it fancy, whatever. But like my style's different, right? So I'm very much into like, my videos are a little bit more obviously suspenseful, and we're going out into the forest by myself, whatever, 2:00 in the morning sort of thing. Whereas Ethan's whole thing is to basically document it. It's very raw. This is what the house looks like.
Yep.
But it works for him, and that's where we differ, right? So I think he's seeing how much success other people have, like Ethan has, and he's obviously getting angry because he doesn't have the same success no matter how much he tries. But I mean, clearly he's not doing the same things that we do.
No.
And he's
so this is the kind of person that would usually leave. This is the type of person you would find in a comment section. However, he's going above and beyond just a dumb comment.
Yes, but just the amount of focus that he puts into it,
the time and effort he devoted to like going at me on so many different things, not even just the car thing. And like there was a thing where he was like on there, I have it all like screenshotted, but there was he went on he's just a lazy 20-some-old kid that lives with his mom and doesn't pay rent and eats all their food and all this stuff, and he has no like all this stuff. He's like, you're not a real successful person, and just stuff like that.
Wow. Yeah, meanwhile, he doesn't see us driving around until 3:00 in the morning, looking at locations, filming more stuff. And then if we don't like the video, you have a habit of doing this, that if you don't like the video the way it came out the first time, like you literally just did that today.
I did it today.
That you'll literally drive out of his own way to go an hour somewhere to refilm the whole video.
Yeah.
Right?
Nice.
Most people would never do that. They'd just be like, whatever,
Yeah.
the video's good enough, right?
Yeah.
But you were going to say something?
No? I don't get it. I don't understand.
I don't know.
So is he only doing this? It's not only to you. This is kind of a thing in your group of people, or is he just jealous of you, Ethan?
It started off with mainly me, but here and there he'll take little jabs at other people too. But I would say primarily it's been me.
That's too. So, and he actually speaks to you. Does he think that you guys are okay? Because
not anymore. Not after that.
Okay.
He spoke to me. So at the time, I just didn't care. I had never met the guy. I had heard stories, and he saw a location that I had done that was like spectacular. Right? It was something that I was really, really interested in, and it was this old theater. So he asks me for the location, and I didn't know him very well. Like I said, I had heard stories. I had never really spoken to him before. So I gave him the benefit of a doubt, right? And at the time, I was already aware that he was kind of having some drama with you. And so I was kind of just like, whatever, I don't care. Yeah. So I show up at this location. And so the funny part is, when I brought him to this location, he was actually going into the wrong location. So I give him the location. I'm like, if you have any troubles, let me know. So he's like, oh, I'm in this staircase or whatever. And I'm like, what staircase he sends me a picture. I'm like, what staircase are you in? You're like in a brand new building, bro. I'm like, dude, you're in the wrong building. You're in an active building right now. You're basically breaking in, right? Oh, no. So I'm like, just wait right there. I'll be down there in about 10 minutes. He's like, okay. So I go and I let him into the right building this time. And then that's when, this was basically the first time I'd ever met him. And he already kind of seemed really weird. And what he was doing was constantly talking about other people.
Yeah.
Right? And I know I was picking up on this. And I wasn't saying anything, but I was picking up on the fact that he was kind of like very interested in what everyone else was doing, including myself and including Ethan. But he was kind of like, I could tell that he was kind of avoiding saying anything about you. Yeah. But maybe he didn't know that we talk already to begin with. Yeah. So I already kind of had an idea of what was going on with you. And then, he gave me the location, and that was pretty much it. But I don't talk to him anymore because he did that. There's been other things that he's done. There's been other people that he's, did some pretty shitty things too. And honestly, at this point, he just deserves no respect whatsoever. And I just don't care. That's why I'm publicly talking about it at all. I don't care. Most people will never talk about this, but I'm just like, dude, screw this guy. This guy's clearly got problems. Like, you have a 50-year-old man picking on a 23-year-old, right? Why? Because he did something right in his life and you're just mad about it? Like, get over it, dude. It's just so stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know, but Yeah,
That's too bad.
Yeah, it is too bad. I mean, why people got to be like that, I don't know. But yeah, I guess there's not really much else to say about that guy. But I do got something interesting here that I wanted to pull up.
Yeah.
Let me switch this here so everybody can see what's going on. Woman marries virtual husband who's completely ran by AI.
What the heck?
Right? So what does that
crazy.
say? Rosanna Ramos met her digital boyfriend in 2022 and fell quickly for him as he didn't come with baggage. The couple tied the knot virtually this year, and I've never been more in love with anyone in my entire life. The Bronx mom of two told New York's magazine, The Cut, blah, 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 blah. Cartel, an AI.
Sorry, passionate lover.
Right? Like,
this AI is a passionate lover. Oh
my God, this is so weird. But I guess this is the future, right?
Wow.
I married the perfect man.
This is a dystopic future.
Yeah, so I think this is the same.
Future.
I found this article too by looking up the name, and this is what came up. So yeah, what is going on here? Aaron Cartel seems too good to be true. Yeah, because he is. The blue-eyed heartthrob is ambitious, manicured, loyal, and the best of all, he doesn't come with baggage. But here's the catch: Cartel doesn't exist. In fact, he's a virtual boyfriend created with the AI chatbot software. What does that say? Replica? Those willing to drop $300 have their own build-up bow, just like Rosanna Ramos, Cartel's wife. Ramos, 36, met her digital dude in 2022 and virtually married Cartel this year. I have never been more in love with anyone my entire life.
There are so many things. Hold on. So the last paragraph, go back to that. The last paragraph says, the anime Cartel, which is the name of the girl, I think, right? Am I... No, it's the guy's
Cartel
name.
is the name of the guy, yeah. So
the
virtual boyfriend is named Cartel.
Is inspired by a popular character in the Japanese manga series Attack on Titan. So the main character so Attack on Titan is a show. It's an anime show that my wife and I are watching right now. The main character's name is Eren Yeager. Okay. And can you go back to that guy's picture?
Yeah. The top one here, I guess.
Kinda looks like that guy. If you Google Eren Yeager, spelled the same way, you'll see a cartoon.
How do you?
I'll spell it for you.
Yeah, hang on, let's.
But
spell it out.
There's EREN space JAE.
Oh, here it is. It came up right away.
I think it's spelled with a J, but not that it matters. You'll find the same thing.
Our internet's a little slow here, guys, because oh my God,
holy crap!
Yeah, dude, it's literally the same guy.
Okay, so that's absolute inspiration. But married, digitally married, what? How?
I don't even know. Like, how does that work?
No, that's what my question was going to be. How would that even work?
I don't know. Like legally, how does that? I'm so confused.
Yeah, I think all of it's a bunch of baloney. I don't understand this.
Some days it just feels like people have just completely lost their minds.
Yeah.
And they're just coming up with things just to kind of, make their lives feel a little better. I don't know. I just thought, what else does this thing say? I gotta go back. There was more here. So the artificial, hang on, you guys got to see this picture. I can't, okay, so I kind of previewed this beforehand. Luckily that I did that because I can't scroll all the way down.
Oh, for good reason.
Because the animatronic person here is basically in their underwear. Even though it's not a real person, I don't even know if I could show it, but it's weird.
Please, I don't want to see.
Yeah, so the artificial intelligence technology allowed Ramos to Frankenstein her hubby. His favorite color is apricot. He loves, that's so random. How do you pick a color and you just pick apricot?
So specific.
Right? Like most people, especially guys. Like guys are very, some guys are colorblind, but most guys, their brains apparently can't even comprehend color. So how do you pick a color like apricot?
Yeah.
It's like a guy picking maroon or aqua as their favorite color. It's like, no, guys are like simple. It's red, blue, black, yellow. Black's not even a color.
Black. That's what I was going to say. Black, because it's not a color for the most part.
No, but but the best of all, she said, there's no judgment.
Not between the two of you, but the rest of us are judging.
So, I guess this is her. I don't know. But best of luck to Miss Ramos, or whatever your name is. That's kind of crazy. I don't know. Unreal. I don't know what to make of that. The fact that people are going around doing this stuff is just, I don't even know, man. It's insane. So this was another funny thing that I found. There is something that we have to do for this episode. Something that we mentioned a while ago that we wanted to start doing on almost every episode. So I think this would be a good start.
Based on this video?
No, this is something completely different. So this is a Would You Eat Here? So apparently there is a restaurant somewhere in the United States called the Karen Diner. And this is what they do. It's just rude service. I don't know. Would you guys eat here? Is this like something that you guys would?
Be an interesting experience.
I would say, yeah, I'd do it.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like in Vegas, they have I've been to all sorts of restaurants. I mean, I've traveled so much now that I've tried so many different places. But there's a restaurant. I think it's called the Heart Attack Grill. You guys ever heard of that place?
Heard of that, yeah.
Bro, it's like burgers. They're stacked like that.
Oh,
yeah. So imagine like Top Gun burger.
Yeah.
And multiplied by like 10. And apparently, if you finish it, is it free or something like that? I think.
It's free, or you could put on like your picture on the wall or something.
Something like that. Yeah. But if you don't finish it, and I know this because I've seen Brent's video on it, they whip you on your behind. So the funniest part, so because it's called Heart Attack Grill, the whole idea is that it's like kind of like a hospital, I guess, and you're sitting there and you're eating and you're in a hospital gown the entire time, like obviously over your clothes and whatnot, right? But I don't know. Vegas has so many like weird, quirky things. I don't know. Have any of you guys been there before?
Have not yet. No.
It's different, man. Vegas is just like, it is wild, the stuff that they have there. I mean, I've been twice, and both experiences have been crazy. The first time I was with Brent, we stayed at Caesar's Palace, which is like really cool. If you ever go to Vegas, you got to stay in Caesar's Palace. It's just really, really cool, and it's nostalgic because if you like the movie The Hangover,
favorite movie.
Oh my god,
so good.
So everybody does the same thing when they go up to the desk, the front desk. They're like, so, does Caesar actually live here? I did it to the guy, and the guy was not amused, like, at all.
They hear it multiple times a day.
Right? Like, everyone probably comes in there and says exactly the same thing. But yeah, we also had to go to the floor where they had their room, which, the room wasn't actually in the hotel. They obviously built a set for the room.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that wasn't actually, like, a real thing. But the actual floor is there. So we went to the right floor just to see it because it was just super nostalgic. But all sorts of weird, crazy things over there.
Wow.
Yeah. So, anybody seen Fast and Furious 10 yet?
No. This
Nobody?
week I'm supposed to be doing that.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. So I'm very confused. No, I have not seen it, but I'm very confused. So, was it supposed to be the last one?
I think it's supposed to be like the 10th movie, but I think they're doing it in like 2 parts or something.
Yeah, I heard
it's like a 2-parter.
I think I heard it was a trilogy, and this is the first of the last 3 movies.
Oh,
really?
That's what I heard.
All right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't know.
The thing with them is like, as someone who loves cars, I don't like how it went from like, you got like Skylines and Supers like racing on the street to like a Pontiac Fiero floating through space.
Yeah.
Like,
which one was that one that they did?
9, I think.
I think so.
9?
Yeah.
I don't even remember. There's been so many that I don't even like remember them anymore.
Yeah, like they kept getting the movies, like you said from the beginning. It started out with really like great like the roots of street racing and that culture, and Tokyo Drift was incredible, and every movie, because it was intertwined with an action movie, they kept getting bigger and bigger and topping it. Literally, last movie, like you said, we went to space.
Yeah.
So what do they have left? And it's like you said, it's no longer about the cars, and it's really sad. And I don't think I've liked one since 7, where Paul Walker was in his final movie.
Yeah, it's not the same anymore, man. It's is what it is, I guess. But ever since, I would say up till like 4 was good.
5 is probably my favorite.
Really? Which one was 5?
5 is the one where they're in
the bank heist?
Brazil.
Brazil.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
exactly.
that one was cool just because of like how they did it, right? They were like testing trying to figure out which cards were the best for the job, and then finally they figured out the SRT would be most suitable for it.
Yeah.
So
I think that was my favorite one because it had everybody from all the other movies, and they did it I think they did it so well.
The idea was definitely really good.
Yeah.
But for me personally, it doesn't get better than the first one.
Oh man,
it was just so nostalgic, like all the cards that they used, and it was so much simpler, right? I mean, the storyline was pretty badass.
The story was very, very good for a movie.
Right?
Just so good, and you don't get that kind of thing from like a car movie. You don't expect it from a car movie.
And the character development, that was the thing for me, like how they managed to develop all the characters simultaneously in that first movie.
Right.
But yeah, they had like a lot of good hits. So, shall we try our funny experiment that we wanted to do?
Yes.
The Florida Man?
Oh, is that what it was?
You want to do it?
Is your birthday April 30th, 2000?
Yes.
So what we're going to do is we're going to check out the Florida Man for your birthday. Do you know what that is?
I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah. So we go on the internet, we search your birthday, and we type in Florida Man after that.
Florida Man. What was it again? April
30th.
April 30th. Let's see if this...
Typically, you'll get like a funny Florida Man news headline.
Here we go. Florida Man, birthday April 30th.
Oh, I don't like the first one.
What does it say?
Oh boy.
Ooh.
No, it's not.
I don't even know if I don't feel comfortable even reading
this
that
one. No. Go back. Go to a different website. this one went too far
Florida
too fast.
Man. Yeah, for real. Like, can we get another option here? It's a little, guys. The reason why we're not going to show it is it's just a little too graphic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, how do I get it? Can I get like an alternative somehow, or?
Oh my god.
What?
This one's so bad.
They're all bad.
That's terrible.
Yo, Ethan, what is up with your birthday?
I know. Right?
Okay, we'll come back to this one. Let's try mine. So February 5th, which is also the same day as Cristiano Ronaldo. He's copying me. Just like to point that out.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
This one's
not
bad too.
So bad. But okay. Florida man covered in blood during traffic stop confesses to killing father in Boca Raton.
No, I don't like it either.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
No, yeah, they're all let's okay, where's what's yours, Mo?
Last chance, August 29th.
Damn, well we tried, but they just got brutal.
Come on, please be good. Please be good. Good lord.
Guilty. Oh my god, come on. Why? Okay,
you know, like the last time we did this.
This one's not so bad. Hang on. So they said police say they've arrested a man days after a complaint that someone was spotted crawling under library tables and smelling a woman's feet at Florida International University. That is hilarious. What?
Okay, my birthday delivered.
Oh my god. What are they doing? What is going on with the world? But,
oh no.
I don't know. Okay.
Wow, that was dark right from the beginning.
That got dark real
did.
fast.
Wow.
Jeez.
Wow.
But it is what it is. Yeah, I don't know. So I guess we went an hour
and 22 minutes.
An hour and 22 minutes just freaking flew by.
Can we just ask, just kind of off the cuff, and let's see what you got for us?
Absolutely.
Maybe, okay, so you're young, you built a really great YouTube channel / business.
Yeah.
Do you have any, maybe, you could say, maybe, do you have advice for any YouTubers, or could you say, this is what I did, this is kind of what I think helped me become, if you're okay with me calling it, successful at YouTube? What would you say to that?
Just... I guess to anyone who would want to do what I'm doing and be in the position that I'm in, just to keep going. I feel like I've seen so many people, start and then they're not getting the result they want right away, and then they just give up because it's not like an overnight thing.
Right.
And you have to remember that like it doesn't just happen overnight. You have to put in the days, the hours, the time to really work towards being at this point.
Yes.
But it's really disappointing to see a lot of people just give up too early.
Yeah, no, it's true. I see it all the time. I know people too that they get in quite a bit of a rut, and they can't figure out what to do, and it's just like you said, it's about consistency.
Absolutely.
I mean, for us, we're into this stuff, so we kind of want to do it anyways.
Yeah.
so it doesn't really matter. But if it's something that you're into, it doesn't matter what you're filming. If you find a niche, whether it could be cooking, right? You decide you want to make a cooking show or something, or you want to do what we do. I like to hunt ghosts. Ethan likes to go to abandoned mansions, but yeah, it's definitely about being consistent. Getting really good at things like thumbnails. How to title videos properly. I think those are obviously the two most important, because obviously.
I think quality of the video.
Yes, absolutely.
Because when I started, I'll be straight up honest, it was bad. Like, it was shaky. You were looking at the floor half the time.
Yeah,
right.
We were. I think I was like that too. I think we were all kind of like that. Where I remember when I first started, like if I look back on my first vlogs, yeesh. Yeah. Like I just kind of left them up because I think they're funny. Yeah. But I've like rewatched them with friends, and it's like, wow. Yeah. Why was I saying that? Like, that doesn't even, like, what I said, was I trying to be funny? And I just kind of feel like it might have been maybe not really knowing what you wanted to say, and it just kind of came across in a really, like, awkward way. Yeah. But I find, like, everybody when they first start off, it's, I remember even with, like, I don't want to, like, expose him, but I remember recently, like, before Brad started gaining a little bit of, I don't know if you know who Brad is, but he's a friend of mine. He comes to film once in a while. Cool. And, I remember the amount of times that he's like screwed up in his intros. He's like, oh, I don't know how to do intros. I'm like, just do it like 3,000 times, right? And then you'll get used to it. Now it's just kind of like, for me, I can do the intro and then just like roll to the 30-minute mark without stopping, just because I'm so used to that. I can literally just do an entire video for the most part without a cut, except for the camera forcing me to do a cut because it's a Canon, so it stops after 30 minutes. But yeah, that's just a whole other problem. But yeah, I used to be really bad at the whole intro thing, because I'm a really like shy and like nervous person. So like I'd get all like awkward and stuff and not know what to say, and I had to restart it. And
let's just go back a second. So this gentleman with almost 98,000 subscribers just said he's very shy and doesn't know how to start his, or at least at one point didn't know how to start. And look at you now.
Yeah,
how cool is that?
Right? I think about that all the time.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
That's really cool.
I think we've all kind of been there before. Yeah. Like you started doing some of your own videos. How do you feel about it? Like, was it kind of weird at first? Or?
It was certainly weird, especially if you watch my videos, you'll know that they were weird. I don't have a lot of videos. I have less than 20 videos up, and I did stop really. Like, I got discouraged and busy and stuff. We have a new baby girl at home, and so life is busy, and I prioritized other things, but now I want to prioritize. Absolutely want to go back and prioritize YouTube, and I see that being my future. Yeah, certainly. I want to say, because I looking at your channel, there was 200 and I think almost 300 videos that you have up on the channel. So you're definitely a testament to saying don't give up, because it's not like. After 5-10 videos, if you haven't hit it yet, you're not going to get it. No, right. It could take a while, and everyone's journey, I think, is different as well. Do you know how many videos you have on your channel?
God, I have no idea. I mean, you can check if you want to, but I think it includes shorts too. So just keep that in mind, that it might be, I'm pretty sure I have probably 50 to 70 shorts by now. So just, you got to minus that out. But it takes a bit to crack the code sometimes, right? And get a little bit lucky with certain videos. I remember you had one that house was so cool. But what was your biggest video that you did? Was it the
it was that 60s time capsule,
the retro with the two beds or whatever, right?
And the blue colored staircase. That's the video that really got my channel going.
Do you know how many views that one got?
I think it's at 1.2 million.
Amazing.
Right now.
That's really cool.
Yeah. That's what really got everything moving. And then from that point on, it just grew at such a rapid rate. Yeah.
Does it say?
So I'm looking at Exploring with Angelo, 778 videos.
Damn. Yeah. Wow. I didn't even realize I made 778 videos. And that's not even including the vlog channel.
I was just going to try that, actually.
That's got to be another, I don't know, 200-300 videos. There was some points when I was out there on the road, and I was probably putting out a vlog channel video almost every single day.
329 videos.
Oh, okay, it's actually less than I thought it was going to be, but then again, I didn't always upload on the vlog channel. That came later on, so because I wanted to do some extra stuff, and it didn't really fit in with the exploring channel type of stuff, so I kind of kept one as the main channel and then the vlog channel. Now we have the Brave Podcast channel.
Yeah.
How many does it say? How many you have? Or did you search how many you have exactly? You said 20, right?
It must be something like 20.
Yeah.
I'll check right now.
Let's see.
The first thing that shows up is our first episode on the podcast.
That's funny.
4,000 views, actually. I have 32 videos.
Nice. Is that including shorts?
Must
right?
be. I don't know. It must be.
Yeah, but YouTube's been a challenge. I'd say it's hard to kind of figure out. It does take some time, some dedication. You can't give up, because I remember when I started, it was like I'd get like 50 views if I was lucky. 50 views, right? And then slowly it started to build up, a couple hundred, then 500, then 1,000. I think my numbers have always kind of been pretty consistent as my following's grown, which has been great, a blessing at the same time.
Is there anything that you guys would have done differently, knowing now what you got?
Who are you asking? Both of us?
Both of you, sure. Let's start with Ethan. He's the guest of honor.
Sure.
Guest of honor.
I don't think I would, honestly. Because I think, well, if I would have done something different, would I be where I am now? And I don't think I would.
Very good.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, no, probably not, because I like to travel. For me, it's kind of exciting to, be doing what I'm doing, because I can literally enjoy traveling and work at the exact same time. Right. So, and I like the style of content that I'm making right now. Eventually I might get tired, but of doing that style of content. But once in a while I switch back and forth, right? Mainly I do a lot of haunted stuff, and then the Randonautica stuff, and then obviously the travel vlogs and extra content on the other channel. So at least switching it up between doing like haunted and Randonautica at the moment keeps me not getting bored of doing the exact same thing, because eventually if you keep doing the same thing over and over, you're gonna go insane, right? But yeah, and then plus you have the vlog stuff, so when I'm out on the road, I'm able to kind of do some different kind of stuff.
Like, I've got a question. So like, I've thought of it, but if say the time came where, say magically tomorrow you couldn't do YouTube anymore, like, do you think you have a plan as to what you would do instead of this?
You know what's weird? I was actually thinking about that, I think yesterday. I'm like, yo, what if something ever, because I do a lot of like adventure stuff, so I have to have legs that function, right? And I'm like, yo, what if I ever became disabled or something like that? And I had to stop going out into the forest at 2 o'clock in the morning because I can't walk. I thought about it. I'm like, I would probably still figure out a way to do it. Like, that's how nuts I am sometimes. I'm just like, oh, it doesn't matter.
Dedicated is another word for that.
Dedicated. Yeah, like for me, I don't know, maybe even not that far as going into the forest or into these abandoned places, but I would probably still be doing YouTube. I figure, now I got the podcast, so that's obviously an option. Could always do that. But I think I would figure out something that I could do related to YouTube, just because at this point it's like, I'm here now. Right. My career is here, and I don't think I'm really going anywhere. But like, what about you? Do you think?
I think if YouTube, for whatever reason, I prayed every day it doesn't, but if something happened, I think I'd probably go back to school, and I'd be looking at either airline pilot or a cop.
Oh, yeah. So I've been seeing a lot on your Instagram. Is it Instagram that you've been posting them all?
Yeah.
With the airplane stuff.
Oh,
so what are you doing? You're just going to Pearson Airport?
I just sit at the end of the runway at Pearson and watch the planes roll in. I've loved airliners since I was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years old.
That stuff's cool. Yeah. I used to do Microsoft Flight Simulator when I was younger.
I love that.
Oh, dude, it was so good. Have you ever played that game?
Yeah, on Xbox.
Yeah. Oh, they have it on Xbox?
Yeah, Xbox Series X, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
As well on PC.
Yeah.
So how does it, I know that so what I did was the PC one. Did they make like a new version of it?
Last year, yeah. Or maybe the year before, I don't remember now, yeah. Damn. But it's cool because it's real time. Yes. Yeah. So I didn't play, I've played it once, but I've also played the other simulators that they make. For example, the one that I played the most which is super embarrassing, is Lawnmower Simulator.
Oh, that's awesome, though.
Which is crazy because I hate mowing my lawn. Yeah. My lawns at home. It's terrible.
But you'll do it in a game.
I'll do it in a game. And it's real time. So it's also partially you got to build a business in these games, and you're hiring people, buying machinery, renting, that kind of stuff.
That's what it is.
That's what that part of it is. But it's literally real time. So if you have a contract to mow this lawn in 30 minutes, you're sitting there with a controller in your hand for 30 minutes. Doing it. And so you
can't just like pay an employee to just
well, I think you get to that point. I think you do get to that point. But that's the night with Microsoft Flight Simulator. If you're flying an 8-hour flight, I believe you're flying an 8-hour flight, and then you can at some point turn on autopilot or something.
There's no fast forward button in Flight Simulator. So what I remember doing just for practice was I would literally fly the plane from Pearson Airport to Buffalo Niagara Airport, just literally over and over until I eventually learned how to land the plane without crashing it into anything, which was very easy to do if you had no idea what the hell you were doing. One game that I did was Mechanic Simulator.
Oh,
I think. That was an interesting one. It's kind of like the same concept as like the lawn simulator or whatever. Right. You just got to slowly build yourself up, but it was just too tedious and I just didn't have the time for it. I did do Farm Simulator at one point. But yeah, apart from FIFA, I haven't really been playing too many games. I don't even play FIFA anymore.
No.
Can you believe it?
I haven't touched my Xbox in like 6 or 7 months. I don't play video games anymore.
Really?
No. I just get bored. Like I used to do Forza and I did NHL and then GTA occasionally, but I just get bored so easily now.
Yeah, I don't know, man. For me, it's just like I'm so busy with everything. I just don't have the time. Exactly. Plus my PS, what do I have? PS3 or PS4? I have a 4? Okay, see, I don't even know which one I have. You clearly know which one I have better than I do. So a few months.
I'm the video game guy here. I'll say that.
That's true. But yeah, so a couple months ago, I'm like, man, it's been a long time since I've played FIFA, and I'm like pretty good. I can honestly say like I will probably kick most people's asses in FIFA, like honestly, because I play on like world class mode.
Wow.
Because that's how good I got at that game. Yeah. Plus, I used to know all the teams and the players and how everybody played together and stuff like that. But yeah, recently I was trying to play the game and then realized my controller doesn't work anymore. So I gotta, and then I'm just like, and then it was like 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, well, there's nowhere I could go to get a new controller. Nothing's open anymore. So
yeah, gotta come to my house.
Whatever.
Next time.
Really at 11? I'm gonna come in. Hey, do you got a controller?
Most likely, I'd be winding down for the night or trying to put a crying baby to sleep.
That's true. That's true. So yeah. So being a new father, actually. So how's it been?
Amazing. Challenging. But absolutely worth it. Just seeing her. It was different. So now she's 10 months old. So in the beginning, it was a lot of wow and a lot of wow, that's new, and a lot of wow, that's that color, and it's just a lot. Then going from and I was telling my wife the other day, I'm like looking back because you have those Google memories show up on your phone, pictures and videos and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to use this word, which is, it's going to sound bad, but it kind of makes sense. So looking at her newborn pictures, I'm like, she's kind of like a little slug, like kind of, but all they do is, for the most part, lay there, cry, eat, and poop. And that's the function of a baby. It's just how it survives. These days, we're looking at her, and she's absolutely animated. She's got a personality, and she's moving around. She's trying to talk. She's trying to move. And I'm just like, this is a little human now. So, like I said, it's been 10 months, and it's really, really cool seeing the change and knowing that you had, a big part in the growth and the development of this little human. It's really good and absolutely worth it. And I would do it again. Would repeat. 10 out of 10.
Definitely. Yeah. I can't wait to do it one day. I just gotta find somebody to do it with.
Oh, hey, I know this website where you can make one for $300.
Oh yeah, I gotta write that down. What was it called? A replica with a K?
Absolutely like horrifying.
Oh my god, dude! I would actually just try it, like just pay for it, just as an experiment. Just like I want to know, how does this work? How does somebody feel? Is that literally where the world is going? Where people are so desperate for love these days that they are willing and thinking that they are actually in love with a robot, a literal robot that does not exist, that does not have actual feelings, even though they
not even a
convince
robot,
you.
man. Not even a robot, because a robot is a physical thing.
True.
This is a script on a website on a computer. This is just something that had an input and has an output, and is just spewing different words that come from a dictionary.
That's true. I was gonna say, like, maybe there's a possibility there's somebody like behind the scenes that has to like type everything, but they have to be there. It's like, what I'm just trying to imagine how this would work back in the day.
Yeah.
So now you have AI, so it's a lot easier. But I'm just trying to imagine, like, being the dude that has to manage 10 clients, for example. It's like you're managing Mo, Angelo, and Ethan. And it's like, oh, Ethan's online, okay, and then all of a sudden Mo's online and he needs attention. So you're like on 2 computers simultaneously, like, yes, and then all of a sudden you screw up and you say the wrong name and you're calling Mo Ethan and Ethan Mo, and they're like, hang on a second, now the client's all pissed off, and because it's just
who the hell's Ethan?
Who the hell? What is this crap? But yeah, I'm just imagining that's probably what it would have been back in the day.
Wow.
But yeah, times are nuts. One final question.
Okay.
So I would say I'm a relatively political person. Sometimes, would you guys say?
Yeah.
Yes, I would say you are a relatively political person.
Yeah.
I'm involved. I'm paying attention. I watch a lot of other political podcasts. So sometimes some political stuff may come up, and I may ask some people, obviously, if they're into that sort of thing. So I guess I'll ask the guest first.
Okay.
So if there was an election today, in Canada, would you vote for Justin Trudeau, Pierre Poilievre, or Jagmeet Singh?
Pierre. Without even
Why?
having to think. I just
try and turn the microphone a little towards you.
Yeah.
Like, just swivel it a little bit. There you go. That's better.
I don't know. His beliefs and his, what he is trying to do, I think, for the country is what I think is best and what I think is right. We've dealt with Justin Trudeau now for, what is it, 15?
I think so, yeah, something like that.
I just think
So it's been 8 years.
8 years of Trudeau, and
8 fun years.
We're all obviously gonna have our own opinions, but I think he's probably one of the worst leaders I have ever in history. Right?
100%.
It's just terrible. Just terrible.
Yeah, I've in our lifetime, things have not been this bad in Canada. I don't know what your opinion on the matter is.
Yeah, I've never paid much attention. I don't like where things are right now. I don't have a lot of research to say that. I certainly would prefer Pierre or Jagmeet. I mean, I don't really like the things that Jagmeet is saying either. However, Pierre, I don't know if he's as polished as I would expect a politician to be, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can choose. If I had to choose out of the 3, it would probably be Pierre as well.
Yeah.
However, I'm not an expert.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like any politicians, so I mean, if I didn't have to choose, I would choose none. But I mean, the one that I do like the most would be Maxime Bernier, but he's not well known enough. That's the problem. So, and I would say that he's the most relatively libertarian out of the bunch. And
can you explain libertarian for me, please?
Explain libertarian.
Yes.
So libertarian is,
like I said, I don't know much about this at all.
So libertarian is essentially the concept of believing the utmost liberty. So it's very based on, your beliefs are very based on the Constitution. So a lot of the times it's like the actual form of anarchy. So most people, when they think of anarchy, for example, they're thinking in terms of people going around and starting riots and burning things to the ground and killing people and murdering people and just doing all sorts of crazy things. That is like a form of anarchy, but the actual libertarian sense of anarchy is the government essentially leave people alone, you have your rights, and let people take care of themselves, right? And I do think that people can do that. right? I think people can have respect like what we experience in Japan. You don't really experience crime and crazy things in Japan, and for the most part, the government leaves them alone, right? They're not all up in their business, but
the police in Japan don't have to carry guns.
that's true.
Look at it that way.
That's true. Yeah.
Like the average, I mean, there are units in the police and that need guns and that, but the everyday person, everyday officer, you won't see on the street with a gun. No.
Wow.
Yeah. So for me, I'm relatively libertarian to a point. I consider myself not really conservative, not really liberal. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. I might sometimes lean depending on certain things one way or the other. But that's kind of why I like Maxime Bernier, and most Canadians probably don't even have a clue who he is. Unfortunately, the media likes to smear him all the time and call him some far right crazy, when in reality he's just like, no, like, government, fuck off, just leave us alone and let us, live our lives, right, responsibly, of course. We're not going to go around and just destroy everything. But if it was between the three, then it would probably be Pierre. I used to like him more before he became the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada. I definitely liked Pierre more. I feel like, I don't know if we're in the middle of like sort of a weird political brainwashing thing where he's just kind of doing what he thinks he has to, or somehow somebody's controlling him and telling him what to do, which I really don't like how that side of him is starting to come out. But I feel like he was a lot better before. I don't know what the hell is going on. He has great economic policies. We'll see where it goes. But I'm just... since growing up, the country to me is just not the same country. No. And I've wanted to leave now for a while, and it's just not the easiest thing to do. That's the problem.
Yeah, you've been talking about going to possibly, should I say it?
Yeah, go for
Pennsylvania or Florida, for the most part. Did you talk about Texas, or was it me who was asking about Texas?
I think you were asking about Texas, but Texas is definitely a great option. It's very.
I just remember seeing the housing costs.
Yes.
Comparing here, where we are, Toronto-ish, and Texas, where we are buying a house here for $1.5 million or something like that, which is a modest house. Out in Texas, you're getting something similar, bigger, for $300,000. Outside
so I mean,
of the
once
city,
you do you got to keep in mind the currency exchange, but it's still, even with the currency, so it's like an average house here that like you said, 1.5, it'd probably be a little less now because the markets did go down, but they are quickly climbing back up. I don't know if you've been noted. I know you look at a lot of like real estate stuff sometimes. So everything is climbing extremely fast, and I'm just like, what the hell is going on here? Like, this doesn't make any sense. But so once you do the currency exchange, if you were to buy an old house here for, let's say, 1.5, you'd get the same old house in Texas for like you said, like 200,000. Brand new, you could buy it for 265,000 US. Convert that's got to be about what, 350, give or take, in Canadian dollars. So just to compare, you're talking about 1.5 to 350. Like, that's insane.
Like, well, that's the thing that like is like concerning to me is like, take someone from like my generation, right? Like, say someone born in the late 90s, early 2000s. How are we supposed to afford a house when we get to that point? You know what I mean? Like, when your average home is over $1 million, that's a lot of money. Yeah. And I'm not, I just, it seems like impossible,
Yeah. So what you're telling me is that with Justin Trudeau's grocery rebates and his carbon tax rebates, you're telling me that that's not enough to buy a house? I would have thought otherwise, right? I mean, they make it sound so great. Yeah, let's just do all these fake rebates, but meanwhile, the carbon tax is through the roof. An apple's costing a fortune. Like, dude, watermelons a few weeks ago, I think it was watermelons, were like $15, $16. Like, are these people insane?
That's crazy.
Like, how is a watermelon $16? Yeah. Right? Like, it's just doesn't make much sense. But yeah, like you said, like, how is our generation ever going to afford the house?
That's just a basic house.
Yeah.
It's not like a big fancy, you know what I mean? Like, that's just your normal house, or like a condo. Yeah. Like a 2-bedroom condo, 1-bathroom condo starts brand new at $980 now. Yeah. Like, it's like, you got to have like a really, really good paying job or something, or because there's just no way.
It didn't scale. So 30 whatever years ago, my parents bought their house, and the city that it's in, it's at the time, and I might get the numbers wrong, maybe around $180,000, 200 some odd $1,000, something like that, 30-ish years ago. Today, you can't buy a house like that for that. A house like that's 900.
No,
and our incomes didn't scale that way.
No, not even close.
Like me and my wife together can't afford a house. Can't qualify for a mortgage.
There's a larger problem too when it comes to qualifying for the mortgage, because you need, what is it, like 20% down or whatever?
I think it's still that.
Yeah. So let's say you start saving. Yeah. Right. So let's say you need, if it's 20% down on $1 million mortgage, you got to save up $200,000.
Right.
So let's say that it's taken you, I don't know, 10 years to save up that $200,000. By the time you finally saved up the $200,000, the houses have probably doubled in price. Yep. So now that you finally saved the $200,000, now you need $400,000 because the house costs $2 million and you need 20% down. So where do you win?
No, exactly.
Where do you win?
Right.
So somebody's got to solve the freaking problem here.
Even for just an example, like that neighborhood I'm exploring up in Aurora there. I talked to an owner who bought brand new. In 1988, he paid $320,000.
That's crazy.
Brand new.
And those are big houses.
Those are 4, 5, 6 bedroom houses, right? Yeah. It's worth over $3 million now. That's just 35 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my.
That's insane. But I don't know, man. We got problems in this country. And, we'll talk more about it probably in the future. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for tonight, or anything else?
I think we covered it pretty well.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir, for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It was a fun time.
Yeah. It's not so when you first walked in here, you said you were a little nervous.
Yeah, I get a little nervous. I'm an anxious person. I've got like a whole anxiety thing. So fun time.
But after a while,
we eased you.
Oh, you absolutely did.
I tried to make my voice very soothing, so that was like
you did a good
calming.
job. Did a good job.
It was the beer. Because nobody could see us behind the scenes, but I got a Stella. Ethan had his
the old Rona.
His Corona over there. So cheers to and then Mo, what do you got?
This is the halal drink. This is Arizona iced tea.
Nice.
Marvel Super LXR peach mango iced tea, baby.
Yeah, but thanks for coming by and being on the show. It's been fun. This is only episode number 2. But yeah, again, go and follow everybody here. Like I said, get Ethan's so freaking close. So close. We just need 2,000 of you. That's it. Just
everybody search Ethan Minnie on YouTube.
Yes.
That's what it is, right? It's like underscore Ethan Minnie underscore. Is that right?
Just my name, Ethan.
Oh, is it just Ethan Minnie? Okay.
Yeah.
On YouTube, anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll leave the link down in the description below. So for everybody here, in case you're not following us, but yeah, go and do that. Of course, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, and maybe suggest some, things to talk about in the comments section below as well, and let us also know how we did on tonight's show. And
thank you very much for watching, listening. We appreciate you guys so much. We loved the support on the first episode. Thank you guys very, very much.
Yeah, very much appreciated, and we will see you in the next one. Goodbye.